Suzuki has a new Hayabusa. It's the third version of this iconic bike, a bike that has just become so famous ever since it was first launched in 1999. Now that's primarily because of its absolutely outrageous engine performance. This one is an evolution rather than anything more revolutionary, and though there are 550 new parts, it's a bit like Suzuki's have been of late, just what looks on paper at least to be a tweaked version. However, we're informed that all of those parts add up to make a very, very different sort of ride. And I'm sure, just like every other Hayabusa ride I've had in the past, it's going to be very emotional. I'll let you know. Right, this is completely off the cuff. It will be an emotional tribute to this bike because I've had an emotional day on it. Just as I expected, I was blown away by this thing. Oh my God! I think the engine is the thing that wins you over most of all. Its power is immense. It's a mighty thing. I've ridden it about 170 miles in all so far, about 130 odd miles on the road and a few runs down the strip here where I saw 170 on the clock easily. I can't believe the strength it has. It's the torque rather than the sort of peak power it's got. It's so easy to accelerate on this thing. The whole world seems to just blur as you accelerate and just drive so hard. Yet it's much less frantic than something like a GSX-R 1000 would be. It's just got so much torque. Right, changes very quickly. More mid-range power from a retune to the engine. It's lost a bit of peak power, but the revised cams, the changes to the combustion chamber, and new pistons, con rods, a few other detailed internal changes, move the power a bit more towards the middle. The mid-range is stronger as a result. Brakes bigger, new clocks, lots of electronics, smaller tank, bit more consumption they reckon as well, so the range won't be as long. A restyle, looks way better than the old one, much sharper, more aggressive. Still aimed to cut through the air rather than turn head, so it's not the best looking thing you've ever seen, but a distinct improvement. New wheels, Bridgestone S22 bespoke tyres, new exhaust system that alters the weight distribution, giving it a 50-50 balance. Now, some people might be a bit critical that it doesn't make the same peak power that it used to. It used to make 194 claimed horsepower. That's down now to 187. It's lost 7 brake and it's lost a bit of peak torque as well. But they've just retuned it so the mid-range is stronger. So where you really need it, it's got more of. Beautiful sort of linear power. It had to pass Euro 5 and there's a gentleman's agreement to say it's limited to 300k as they all are now, so that's 186 miles an hour. So they've been realistic and just altered and improved the bike to fit within those parameters. Now really helping you to stay sort of safe and composed is the very composed chassis. The frame's not really any different to the previous year's bike, just got a lighter subframe. But that stable, trustworthy, planted Nothing's going wrong from a stability point of view, at least, is very much in place here. That Boozer character is stamped very much on this bike. It's got the same DNA. The brakes are especially good. They were quite a weak point on the first two Boozers, but this one really redresses the balance. A lot of electronic aids that you can adjust, traction, power settings, engine braking. It's got cornering ABS, cornering traction control, lean angle sensors. It's sort of got everything you need. Quite like the suspension. Lots of control, but pretty plush over some of the bumpy stuff we rode on today. I think if it was mine, I'd like just a bit, I'd like a bit more protection from the screen, so I'd get a taller screen, and I might relax the riding position ever so, because I'd really love to ride this down to somewhere like Spain and just have a hoon about on the roads there. It's not an exaggeration to say it is an incredible and astonishing bike, but I really think that I'd probably need another 2 or 3 days on it, please Suzuki, to feel fully at home with the outrageous performance that it's got on offer. For all its massive torque, power and speed, providing you show it enough respect, the Boozer's engine will always remain a dependable friend. As long as you're disciplined, you can count on it being totally manageable. Long and weighty the handling might feel at times, compensation comes in the shape of reassuringly solid and predictable steering. Not long from now, with the world becoming increasingly sensible and PC, bikes like the outrageously speedy Hayabusa just won't be allowed. The lucky ones will get one just before that curtain finally falls. I've been to new emotional heights today. It thrilled me, it sent me to a place I haven't been to for a hell of a long time. Do you know what? I rode Rossi's RCV in 2003. This thing is making me feel as emotionally sort of charged and spent subsequently as that bike did, and that is some accolade.